But right now, it is my pleasure to welcome Michael Nguyen. He is the executive director at Teach for America Milwaukee. He joins us now over the stream to talk about Teacher Appreciation Week here in Wisconsin, as well as a few other things. Michael, welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure, and happy Teacher Appreciation Week.
It's a really nice week to acknowledge what our folks are doing. People are getting their lunches, their breakfasts, their gifts from families. It's been an outstanding week for our folks.
That's excellent. I will say right up front, my wife is a teacher. She's taught in Chicago Parochial schools, Los Angeles Unified, and now up here in Marinette, Wisconsin, a smaller town. She's kind of run the gamut on all the places you could teach. She always laughs that during Teacher Appreciation Week, somehow there are donuts and junk food in the teacher's lounge. And she's like, are they appreciating us or trying to kill us? What do you think it is, Michael?
So my wife is an educator where my kids go to school, and she hasn't had to make breakfast or lunch this week. The families have been very gracious. The school leadership has been very generous, but it's helping our grocery bills this week.
That's always helpful, Michael. We got you here. It's Teacher Appreciation Week, and you are the executive director of Teach for America Milwaukee. Let's start right there. Tell the audience, Teach for America and what it does and what specifically you do in Milwaukee with the program.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. So our vision and our belief is that every kid deserves an excellent education. And the way that we pursue that mission is we recruit and train and develop high-quality folks, because kids in Milwaukee deserve great adults in front of them. So when we recruit, we are looking for folks who have led during college or in their careers, had outcomes, worked with folks and communities across lines of difference. Because when you get into a Milwaukee classroom, those students are coming with a lot of different needs, a lot of different relationships that you need to build so that you are the trusted adult in their life. And Teach for America, what we do is we provide a lot of coaching, training, a community, so that our teachers see a group of folks that coach and support them so that they can be great for kids every day. And our teachers become career teachers. Some of them become school leaders. Some of them pursue law or medicine or become civic leaders. But because we all worked with children in communities, we have a shared belief of what could be true for them if we center children.
Boy, that's a great, that was great. I'll say I worked in a school when my daughter went to middle school. I guess I missed her a lot. And I started volunteering, and that turned into a part-time position where I got to work with kids in an intervention room. And a lot of them came in hot, they had just been in a fight or got in trouble. And I really got to know a lot of the kids and about their home life. That gave me even more insight into what teachers are dealing with. Teachers have to manage these kids and also make the learning environment good for kids who aren't don't have behavioral issues. It is a juggling act. Yet they take a lot of the blame for the kids that have no guidance, no real guidance at home. Can you talk, and maybe your wife has talked about this a little bit, what is the challenge for those kind of teachers, and how can your outfit help that?
Yeah, so first of all, I'll say I was a teacher too. So I started my career as a teacher in 2009 through Teach for America. I was a core member. I taught in Milwaukee Public Schools. I taught at St. Anthony. I was a principal at St. Anthony. So I like your wife, Pete, I've seen, my fair share of what goes on in the classroom. And the biggest thing I've learned, and still today, is we don't always know what our families are going through. We don't always know the responsibilities that the families have at home to put food on the table, the long hours at work. I'm fortunate in my household where my 3 kids, we're checking their homework, we're reading with them every night. And sometimes the hours get long, and for some families, the hours are very thin. So as teachers and educators, we got to be aware of the different supports that our kids need. And to be quite frank, Pete, what that also means is teachers wear a lot of different hats. Some of our core members aren't just the teachers in front of the classroom. They're the counselor. They're checking in on the kid each morning. How are you entering the classroom today? They're distributing breakfast. The kids have to eat. They have to be nourished and supported. And so a lot of our teachers, and this is why Teacher Appreciation Week is so important, is not only are they the educator, they're the main adult in many of these kids' lives throughout the year. And what we have to do as educators is recognize our locus of control. And for folks that aren't in the classroom, understanding that teachers wear so many hats and figure out how do we lean in to help the school systems so that teachers aren't wearing all those hats for kids every single day.
Great point.
Yeah, I mean, with all those challenges, and we talked about this last night because we were discussing Pete's wife's work, and we really looked at it the point of view of as a calling. People who become teachers, who stay in teaching, do it for decades, go up against so many odds. It's really a calling for what they feel like, how they contribute to society. When you are talking to young folks who are thinking about joining Teach for America, what do those conversations sound like? Do you have is it folks who just come in and say, I want to do this? Or is it like them, like a guidance counselor, if you will, where you just talk it out and give them the idea of what would be happening? But what do those conversations, especially in 2026, look like for young people who want to go into teaching?
Well, Greg, what's interesting for Teach for America is we often recruit folks who aren't traditionally trained in schools of education. So for instance, I'm a psych and social major. Back in 2009, right? I graduated from Illinois with a psych and social background, and I joined Teach for America, and I earned my certification. I earned my master's degree. TFA provided the coaching and support for me to be as successful as one can be in their first and second year of teaching. As we talk about current recruits, they're from similar backgrounds as me. I looked at the degrees that our people are coming in with. Some of them are education, some of them are ed policy, but a lot of them are physics, math, econ, business, anthro, English. These are folks that are joining because they want to make a mark in the system, in education, working with communities. So I'll give you an example. I got one guy coming in, he's graduating from Madison with poli-sci background. He knows he wants to be a part of ed policy one day, but he also understands that if he is going to have a accurate and valid understanding of how to support communities in the forms of education, he benefits from being in the classroom with children, making impact on their lives, understanding how schools work, understanding how school structures and systems work. Because if the folks that are going to best impact ed policy are going to be the folks who understand what's going on the ground. And to be more particular about your question, Greg, I am, every generation, I'm a millennial. Millennials got our fair share of grief as we were younger, and Gen Z is facing similar stuff, right? Like, what do they care about? What we've learned in recruiting these folks is there's a lot of altruism about them. They want to do the right thing. They lived through COVID. They lived through the most formative years of COVID. Some of them didn't get to walk the stage as high school kids, and then some of them didn't get to walk the stage in college, right? Because of a variety of things that happened at that time too. So they are deeply invested in being a part of a society and system that serves others well, and that's who is joining teaching, and that's who's joining TFA.
It's amazing. That's awesome. I love that.
Our guest is Michael Nguyen. He is is joining us to talk Teacher Appreciation Week here in Wisconsin. He's the executive director at Teach for America Milwaukee, and we're talking teachers. Part of my frustration, Michael, and I don't know if you've experienced this as a teacher or being married to a teacher, but I feel like Greg's point, teachers are caring people. They just want to teach. And I feel like it's the same way. I used to be a stand-up comic. It's the same way with comedians. I remember leading a boycott in the mid-'90s because clubs had lowered their prices. And most of the people we met with were like, they don't even have to pay us. I'm like, well, there's the problem. And teachers, I feel like I get outraged when I would go to these meetings and they'd say, hey, this coming school year, we're giving you an extra Gene Day a month. And they'd clap. And I'm like, that doesn't beat a lower deductible. Like, let's be sensible here. How do you rally teachers if this is something that concerns you to get what they deserve? Because as much as people who are in physics or other things, eventually they're going to want to make more money.
Well, I think the rally teachers part is, I'm not avoiding your question, Pete. I think it's a right question of like, how do you keep people excited about the profession? Because, we're seeing, we have to invest folks to be teachers, and that's not true of every industry. What I would actually say is, how do you rally non-teachers? How do you rally parents? How do you rally civic leaders? How do you rally business leaders? right? So let's just take a look at Milwaukee, right? Milwaukee's aspirations is to grow to 1 million people in our population. That's what Mayor Johnson has said, and I'm for it, right? A thriving economy requires more people, but a thriving economy, a growing population requires a strong school system. And one way, yes, is to absolutely pay teachers more, provide better insurance and benefits. But we just got done with a conversation about the multiple hats that people wear. Listen, if schools were fully stocked with nurses, if schools were fully stocked with mental health professionals, if we had the city and state systems where children are fed well, if we had daycare, there are many conditions that happen outside of the school that impact the ability for a teacher to, I think, Pete, you might have said it a minute ago, focus on teaching, right? That's what a lot of our people love. Is like they love two things. One, they love teaching, the act, and two, they love their children, right? So like if they're wearing multiple hats, if we can take things off as non-educators that impact the system, then teachers can focus on what they love the most.
Well said.
Yeah, absolutely. And we only have about a minute or so before we have to go to our first break real quick. What is Teach for America Milwaukee doing for Teacher Appreciation Week? And if it's something you can start now, we can come back to it after the commercial. But like for Teach for America Milwaukee, what is happening this week with your organization?
Yeah, so after we get done chatting, I'm going to head to a dinner with all of our core members at Zocalo, a food truck stop.
Oh, I love that place. Yeah, it's a great place.
So I'm excited about that. We've dropped off some gifts to our core members this week. We actually have a celebration for our core members for finishing their 2-year commitment in a couple of weeks. And I can't say too much now, but we have a few surprises for them and their families. So really eager for this month in general and not just this week for our teachers.
Excellent.
That's great. We will have a few more minutes with our new pal, Michael Nguyen. He is here joining us. He works for, he's the executive director. Am I getting that right, Michael? I lost my notes here.
Yep.
The executive director at Teach for America Milwaukee. We're talking Teacher Appreciation Week. We'll have more on the other side of this very short break.